And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of a show about shows. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Pearson. I'm so glad to have you, and I'm so glad to see. Well, I thought I was going to glad to see my co-host, James McAllister, Dutch McAllister, if you will. Dutch, where are you?
I'm right here. I fooled you. It's Donkey. He makes his appearance once in a while. So there he is. There's Donkey, fresh from the art studio.
Very good. Good to see Donkey. Good to see you as well here. Episode 61 here, a show about shows. Of course, I wanted to, and I think we both agree, let's call it something based on, of course, the big tragic news, Wakanda Forever. We'll talk a lot more about our man Chadwick Boseman here in a little bit here. Definitely that's the biggest shocking news through the, this is just in the last day or so we have found out. So definitely we'll talk a little bit more about him, respect him here in a little bit here. We got, of course, some movie reviews, some TV talk. Even I'm going to chit-chat a little bit about music later, rarity here on the show here. But and we both have it as well, too. And we both have several movies that we have as well, too. So, let's kick it off, man. Well, we're also going to talk about another one of our favorites behind me, Michael Keaton, as you can see. That one photo here. If you don't know that movie, well, you should. There's 3 Keatons in one photo.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of your favorite movies. So I'm hoping to see that in your top 5 somewhere.
I won't spoil it because the top, I would say, 6 or 7 are all really good movies, and even 8 through 10 are good as well. Let's kick off
the same here.
Releases. Both me and you made the trek out to a theater. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I got Dutch to come to the theater for our first movie here. And I don't know if you thought it was worth it. It's the New Mutants, everybody. In this terrifying action-filled film based on the Marvel comic series, 5 young people who demonstrate special powers are brought to a secret institution to undergo treatments they are told will cure them of the dangers of their powers. This stars Blue Hunt, Maisie Williams, Charlie Heaton, Henry Zaga, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Alice Braha. New Mutants, man. You want to kick it off? What's your initial thoughts coming out? Also, too, if you want to chat at all about the movie theater experience.
Well, okay, so we were still touch and go all the way up to the movie experience.
This is how the text messages went. This is how the text messages went. Okay, fine. Then again, I could just say home. Okay, we're in. I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. And when I got there, I said, I'll still look at the situation when we get there. So, it was perfect situation.
Left the house, I said, before I put pants on, are we going?
And I said, okay, because I already spent ahead of money. I put my 54-cent reservation down. But no, I got to tell you though, when I went there, I had some trepidation because everyone's been talking about the New Mutants for a couple of years now, and some people have been wanting to see it like left and right. So I'm thinking, okay, by the time we go, school hasn't started in this area just yet. There might be a lot of people there, so to me, it's touch and go. And if I didn't like the situation, I would walk away from it completely and maybe go check out David Copperfield down the street. But turned out there was only 4 of us altogether. And we were all socially distanced very well. I in the rafters, you on the floor, and those other people on the far right of the theater. Yes, I made sure no one was coming near me in a theater. So yeah, but we're talking about the New Mutants, one that we've been waiting for since I believe 2017, and it has finally premiered. And I'll be honest, I was okay with this. I thought it was a great little time. It was almost like a YA movie, young adult film. It had its nice little love story, love of interest, and they introduced characters that we were all here. We had Mirage show up, who was played by Blue Hunt. We had I believe it was Rain Sinclair as Maisie, who's Wolfbane. We have Sam Guthrie, who's a Cannonball. Roberto DaCosta, who's Sunspot. Yes, he plays Henry. Sunspot, who's played by Henry Zaga, and Rasputin, aka Magic, played by Anna Taylor-Joy, who's also the youngest sister of I believe Colossus. So, to me, this is a it was a great introduction to a lot of different things. Unfortunately, we may have to just forget they ever existed after this movie. But it was still a good film. I thought it was a lot better than I imagined the mess it could have been. So I think after the recuts and the re-edit, to me it held my attention. It had its suspenseful moments, and it flowed pretty well. And I think the chemistry between and Maisie Williams, Blue Hunt and Maisie Williams was fantastic as well. And I would like to see more of those two characters, not just because of the love interest, but just because they melded well on screen. I thought together.
Yeah, this was fine. I've always was intrigued by this premise because this is different than your normal X-Men movie. If you're thinking, I mean, I think you've seen the trailer, you're gonna get a kind of a vibe of what you're getting here because you're not getting just a swashbuckling, hardcore, adventure action film. This is definitely a smaller film. I mean, you just named the cast. That's pretty much the cast here. You know what I mean? There's a couple of smaller parts and dream sequences and backgrounds and flashbacks, but that's pretty much the cast here. It's these five locked up in this building, and then the doctor trying to help them as well here. And yeah, I thought, probably my favorite part was the building of the relationship between Blue and Maisie. I thought they're both really good in this. Maisie, of course, from Game of Thrones. Blue, I don't know much of, but I thought they both really shown well here. Even Charlie Heen, I thought had his kind of past kind of building up kind of nicely here as well here. So it didn't blow me away. I actually, in a weird way, enjoyed the slower first half than the last bits and sections here. But, I think if you're looking for a smaller and what's probably going to be a one-off X-Men film, it's worth checking out. Is it rushed to the theaters? No. In fact, I think you actually nailed it on the head after we saw it. This will be perfectly fine on a Hulu, Netflix afternoon. So maybe, I mean, if you're trepidatious at all, this isn't going to be the thing that I'm going to say, yeah, brave it. if you're willing to brave it, sure, check it out. But otherwise, I think you can wait and be fine.
Well, so let's get down to the minute of this whole reason why we're talking. I gave it 3.5 for what it was. It was still a fun base show. I know that's probably way higher than some people are thinking out there, but I thought it was, to me, it was a good classic build. Payoff was decent. And like I said, if we were to have a sequel, I would probably be interested in this because we don't really know what world we're living with. Are we living in the world where Xavier is giving up the school, or Xavier is still with the school? I don't know what world we're living in right now with this franchise, because that's the kind of thing that you can't figure out with this New Mutants movie. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was, like I said, it kept my interest. And everything, the payoff was okay for me. So 3.5 snowflakes on my end.
I'm not far off, man. I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 myself. So, I had a decent enough time. It's something, like I said, I wouldn't mind revisiting this world if we ever get that chance.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I said, one of the deleted scenes as we were researching this, Antonio Banderas was supposed to show up, as Sunspot's father. So that would have been pretty interesting to see. And another one was Mr. Sinister was going to be probably showing up as well, played by John Hamm. So those are 2 things that I was like, wow.
Was it
no, that's the one thing they didn't. They ran out of money, I think, and they couldn't really put it together. The shot though of Antonio Banderas was shot, so that was going to happen at the end. But the merger,
cast list, yeah.
Yeah, but the merger kind of, squashed any of that. And I understand, but they could have at least kept it just, why not at this point? They know they're not coming back. The next one I'm going to have is Bill and Ted Face the Music. Once told that they'd save the universe during a time-traveling adventure, 2 would-be rockers from San Dimas, California find themselves as middle-aged dads still trying to crank out that hit song and fulfill their destiny. This has Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, William Sadler, Samara Weaving, Bridget Lundy Payne, Anthony Kerrigan, Crystal Shaw, and Holland Taylor, just to name a few of the many members in this film. What did you think about this film, Jordan? Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, I thought this was a very sweet, just joyful ride. I found it to be, man. Again, I don't want to use the same words. I wouldn't say I I laughed out loud all that much, but at the same time, I had a smile on my face pretty much the entire time here. It's fun seeing these two get together. We're obviously Keanu fans, but I also want to give a big shout out to Alex Winter. I thought he was very charming in this as well. It makes me want to see more of him because we've seen so little over the years. And so, yeah, I thought he was fun in this here. The two daughters, I love Samara Weaving. Bridget Lundy's definitely trying to do a caricature of who she's based on, but that was fine here. Anthony Carrigan, who I love in Barry with Bill Hader, he's funny. He's the robot who
Yeah.
from the first time he kills somebody and the look on his face, I was like, oh, okay, it's more than meets the eye with this robot killer.
Yeah, and he also, don't forget, he was also in Gotham as well as a henchman, a murderous henchman. So
I forget.
So there was a totally two different contrasts to that character,
So William Sadler to his death. I found his first scene. You find out that him and the band broke up at one point, and his solos were going too long. I thought he was really funny. Seeing that character again too. So yeah, man, I had a pretty joyful time here. In a way, I know this was the right kind of film for the right kind of time to just lift your spirits up. And what do you think? Was it excellent, brother?
I thought it was. Yes, I thought it was very excellent, most excellent, Jordan. But I enjoyed this film. You did the same as I've done. We brushed up on our Bill and Ted adventures before we started this third one, and and I did. I decided to start it up, and I've watched them a few times. You watched them a little bit more recently than I did, but I did decide at midnight, as soon as it turned midnight, to watch my Bill and Ted on VOD, and I enjoyed it immensely. I love the nod to George Carlin. I like the things that just showed up in the film that kind of just delighted me a lot. The only thing I did find kind of there's a grievance too. The only thing I have a gripe for is they could have at least brought back the original princesses. While you're bringing back the original cast, bring back the age appropriate wives. But other because they're still acting.
You saw my text message. I get recasting for slightly bigger actresses. I don't know if that was the idea, but I doing the math here. Yeah, they definitely went 12 to 14 years younger for these actresses, which I found, at least to me, it rang out very quickly to me of like, does this math add up? Especially too, considering how old the daughters are in real life. Obviously, it's a movie, so give and take with the ages, but still, it's definitely Hollywood again.
Well,
let's give us.
I just look at it
40 or 50.
Yeah, I just look at it as those two ladies are still acting; they're still out there. I looked up their their skills, and they as much as they use the wives in the film, they could have used those ladies, I think, and been okay with it. And but other than that, my only minor quabble with the whole film, I still enjoyed it. It reminded me of just the first one and the second one. The daughters are probably hopefully set up, if they ever want to go any further, so people can embrace the daughters in their travels if they need to do that in the future. You never know. But Bill and Ted, I found was a fantastic little film. It held my attention the whole time. As you said, it made me smile throughout the whole time. There was a few times, whenever, of course, when they went to Death's house, that's where I really cracked up the most. When Death, they were arguing with Death about why he left, or why he was thrown out of the band, or vice versa, in his mind. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it so much. But I'm going to stick with 3.5. 3.5 snowflakes on my end.
I'm going to match that.
3.5 kind of day.
I'm going to match that exactly with you here. I'm going to say 3.5 myself.
Perfect.
Coming up next, before I sue you with a class action lawsuit, let's talk about Class Action Park. It's a documentary that focuses on a dangerously legendary water park and its slew of injuries and crimes, along with child safety concerns, directed by Seth Porges and Chris Charles Scott III. Real quick, is this loosely what that Johnny Knoxville movie was based on, or no?
Yes, it was. It was very loosely based. They actually premised that in the very beginning of this documentary, where he's talking to Jimmy Kimmel, talking about this. And this is exclusively on HBO Max. I'm enjoying this network because of some of the things that I can find on it now. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed this documentary. Talked to the original staff that was there. The original owner has passed. They kind of premise that almost right away. So there's no shock that he died because he was way older than anyone else. But he was more of a hands-off owner, and about how the times in the 80s and in the early 90s, people just didn't give a damn. It sounded like for kids' safety. I mean, they say in one part that they actually had to paint the bottom of the pool white just to make sure there was no bodies on the bottom of the pool. So this is what you're talking about. I mean, people would be thrown off and get asphalt burns, and it was just a crazy time. It was a bunch of teenagers running a park, and the guy who was in charge just reaping the money in this community. And you'd have a 14-year-old running this water ride and trying maybe considering to save your life if they also said that if they didn't like the person, or if they noticed they had to rescue them once in the day, they put on their thing is I think CFS is and part of my language, can't fucking swim is what it meant. And so basically, if they saw somebody jumping in the water with that bracelet, they wouldn't even care if he got hurt or not. Whatever, because we've already put that on him. And so I thought that was a fun time. They do talk about the issues of death that did reap at the end of this run, where people were thrown from a luge and died from a massive head trauma. Then people were just drowning. They've actually during the day they had to turn off the tidal pool and look underneath the water just to make sure there was no dead bodies underneath people. And they were find a few here and there over the years. So it was, not only was it kind of nostalgic and fun, but it also showed the morbidity of what this was. It was basically money for nothing. Basically, he never had insurance. This guy never had insurance, and then if you did take him to court, he would fight you tooth and nail. So basically, he would bleed your money out before his money would be bled. So it was a great documentary. I suggest everyone should watch it. Class Action Park. I give it 4 snowflakes. Very good. Well done.
That is not what that Johnny Knoxville film is about. So it's very loose.
No, it's about
evidently.
Yeah, it's about the fun times. Yeah, it's about the fun times. But yeah.
Because that Johnny Knoxville movie I actually saw not too long ago. It is not a 4-star film. So good to know the documentary is way more interesting in a way. I want to see a movie based on that with actors.
No. The documentary will keep you enthralled. Believe me, you would watch it and you would be enthralled the whole way.
Hey, Dutch, while you give us the premise of this next movie, I'm going to chug a beer.
You go right ahead, chug it up, because we are going to go binging. Yes, The Binge, a Hulu exclusive. In the not-so-distant future, all drinking and drugs have been made completely illegal by the government, except for one night a year. High school seniors Griffin, Hags, and Andrew make a pilgrimage to get to the best party in town where all their dreams will come true. This has Skylar Giustato, Dexter Darden, Eduardo Franco, Vince Vaughn, and Grace Van Dien. I watched this along with you, not in the same place, but tell me what your thoughts are on The Binge.
That was a seltzer, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, basically it's a fun take on the Purge here. But instead of one night where I can murder you, it's the one night where I can get drunk, and not only just drunk, but all sorts of stuff. Cocaine, mushrooms are involved here. I'm very mixed on this film. I like the premise here. I really do. I think it's a fun take on it. And I had some fun here and there. I didn't mind the ending. I like where Vince Vaughn's character went, actually. But then there's just also other gags here, too. The cow and other things that I just didn't land and didn't hit. And I found the characters... it was different. Like, I liked the musical number, but I didn't like this part. And then some of it just... I don't know. I was very all over the place here with this film. What did you think of the?
I went into it expecting really nothing. I thought the premise was kind of out there. But you know what, though? I enjoyed the hell out of this thing. You and I are coming in it from two different directions, and I think that's what's going to happen with our ratings as well. I thought the character development was pretty, different than most. I love Vince Vaughn and his snarkiness about the night of the binge, and then to find out something totally different about him, and then of course of course you have the rom-com part of it that always delights me.
Super
Um,
underdeveloped though, man. Super
it was
underdeveloped.
it was kind of forced and shoehorned at the end, but they already had a chemistry prior to that. Knowing, as we find out, they've known each other since preschool, so therefore they weren't enemies. They just kind of lost track of each other and things like that. That's how I look at it. But yeah, I loved Hags, the friend. He kind of, I don't remember his name, but his real name, but he was just a good, good fella in that film. Of course you have what was his name? Eduardo Franco. Always, it seems like every movie we watch, his hair gets longer and longer with him. But yeah, he's still to me a very good young actor. I think he's still kind of in that rut, with Booksmart and and stuff like that, where he plays those one-dimensional characters. I love the chemistry between him and his mom. That was a weird relationship.
That was actually a funny scene, yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie immensely. I'm gonna give you mine right now. It made me laugh aloud, and I love the musical number. Yes, a musical number in this thing as well. I gave it 4. Believe it or not, I gave this a 4 snowflakes. I'm wondering what you gave it, with your thoughts of your scatterbrained, the way you said it, it's like this, like they threw a whole bunch of crap on the wall and let it stuck, and that's how it felt like what you just said. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna not be that good. No, it's not bad either though. Like I said, because of the review, I'm going right smack dab in the middle. I'm saying 2.5. I actually reactivated Hulu just for this, by the way. So
Wow.
I'll watch other stuff, but I saw there was a new movie and I wanted to see because I like Scarlett. Speaking of, you mentioned Franco, but Cesando also very funny in Booksmart, and I think Booksmart is a good example of that's a 4-star movie with a similar premise. This is not as good. I'm sorry. The
There's
rom
something
com's
about
not as
this
developed.
movie.
It wasn't as funny. It wasn't as touching. I thought that was shoehorned in. This reminds me of so many other movies where it's all about friendship, man. Like I don't know. That's getting a little irritating to me. So it's not bad. If you have Hulu, check it out.
It's well worth the watch. And if you don't have it, you should just, I don't know, just subscribe like Jordan did to watch it, because it to me, I made me laugh, and again, I enjoy it. Those type of weird comedy things, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So
Let's talk about a movie spree here. This one is solo one on my end here. Kurt Krunkle, a rideshare driver, or I'm sorry, Kurt Krunkle, a rideshare driver thirsty for followers, has figured out a deadly plan to go viral. Which, by the way, I edited off half of the premise here because half of the premise on the site I took it from gave away too much that you don't see in the movie or the trailer. So I don't like when premises do that. It's a side point. Anywho.
No, I'm with you though. You know what? Just give us the basics and then let us find out by self-discovery.
No, because like the last half of it is literally like the last chunk of the movie, and I don't even think the trailer gave it away. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw that out because if you haven't seen it, then I don't want to ruin it. This stars Joe Keery, Zashir Zameda, David Arquette, Frankie Grande, Misha Barin, and Kyle Mooney here. So, yeah, this is another one. Oh, man, speaking of mixed feelings, this is another good example of that here because it's an interesting premise of trying to go viral. In fact, it even says at the beginning of the movie, which I thought was funny, Kurt's been doing videos for over 10 years and has rarely reached double digits. And I'm like, hey, it's we're me and Dutch. We're going to have to kill people in 10 years. All right, I know where this film's going.
You know what? If we have to, we have to. I can't help it.
Episode 200 will be us just murdering Dizzle. Who views now? Views now. But
what we call a snuff about snuff.
Hey. And yeah, it was kind of interesting the way they built up with this guy who, the way he plays it too is very kind of interesting and fun because it's like American Psycho where he's doing horrible things, but he's not necessarily acting horrible. Like other times he seems just kind of aloof and fun, but he's just all about them views here. So, very underdeveloped on a little way though about more of his backstory here. There's his relationship with his dad, played by David Arquette. There's a couple of weird things, but at the same time, I like where they went with Shazir Zamata's character here. She has a really cool moment. She's an SNL alumni. She has a really fun moment towards the end here. And so it was definitely interesting enough. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I think it is something if you find it cheap enough to check out.
Okay, that sounds fabulous. So we move from movies to television. Yes, we actually looked at a few shows this week, both on Netflix. The one that you and I watched, the first one we're going to talk about is Hoops. This has the voices of, I believe, Ron Funches and a few others. I'm not sure, but Ron Funches just comes into my head.
The main dude
really
is
fast.
Johnson, too,
Yeah. What was your thoughts? Because I told you, I'll just tell you what my thoughts were. Dear God, train wreck alert. I couldn't find anything funny about it. I thought it was just grotesque just to be gum with. But again, it might not be my cup of tea. Usually I love animated stuff. We'll be talking about an animated one after this. But I did not find this at all humorous with any of the, at all with any of the jokes. And I'm still trying to figure out if I should go past. I went 5 episodes, so I think I did most of the meat and potatoes of that show. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Because you were blown away by it, I think.
In the same way as you were to a large degree here. Yeah, so I was interested just because, Netflix has, well, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking of Big Mouth, but even F is for Family, they've had a couple of decent cartoon shows, and both are R-rated, so I didn't mind another one. Jake Johnson, I'm a big fan of. I didn't even know Ron Funches was in this, but he's got if you know Ron Funches, once you hear that voice, you go, oh, it's Ron Funches, sweet. And he's actually kind of funny. That's probably the funniest thing I think actually of the show so far, was just the fact that he's dating Jake Johnson's wife or ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-wife, and they're both just very nice about it. I'm like, yeah, I know you effing my wife, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna see her later. They're both very just nice about it. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, it just, this thing just doesn't click for me. It's one of those things where I feel like, instead of it organically being R-rated, they're going for it, and and everything is just S and my D and FF and F, and if it's funny, it's funny. Big Mouth is obviously, I think, a good example of supremely rated R, but funny with characters and a different look on things. And this, yeah, I didn't hate it by any means, but it's I don't know. Like I've seen the first 2 episodes. Maybe if it pops up in my queue, but it's not something that I'm already kind of looking to, like, oh, I gotta go finish that season. Like, meh. Yeah, so I'm very okay with it.
Yeah, when it first came out, I did earmark it, on the what's coming up calendar, because of, like you said, they've done other mature rated cartoons or animated feature type things, and I've been fine with those. But this one just seemed too gratuitous. I don't know. You don't need to use that much language. And this is what all of a sudden everyone's saying, how old is that son of a bitch? But no, I mean, when you have an F word dropped every 5 seconds, or or just on top of each other very gratuitously, it kind of just puts you off, I think. And that's where I'm at with it. So, but I was 5 episodes in, and I just couldn't watch anymore.
All right, motherfucker. What's the next review?
The next one is a anime version of this show, because that's all it is. Netflix jumps in to The Great Pretender. What this is about a guy who's basically born into grifting, we'll say. His father was arrested for it. He never thought he would be until he was conned into being a con man, and then therefore he decided to embrace the con man lifestyle after his mother passes. And so he then gets put over into the United States. They do use English briefly, but then there's a moment where they just say, nah, from this point on, we're going to just speak, Japanese. You're going to have to read the rest. And I thought that was kind of clever. And what they're doing is they're conning a movie mogul, somebody like Harvey Weinstein type, who's, just a sleazebag, and they just want to basically take his money, and he's in the drug deal trade. So basically, it's just them conning somebody, but then the con becomes too real. And so far, I'm in about 5 episodes, and this one is very fun to watch on Netflix. It's called The Great Pretender. And if you wait for the last part of the credits, Freddie Mercury is singing The Great Pretender. So watch the credits as well, because I love that rendition of Great Pretender by Freddie Mercury. So what else you got? Gerard, you got any other shows, or are we just doing something else?
No, man, we're gonna go into a rarity here, and it's a rarity that we also both have it here, but some music.
Absolutely. The Killers, Imploding the Mirage. It dropped out like a week ago or so, and I have been putting this on almost nonstop. I've been listening to it over and over and over again, because I do love this band. This band makes me so happy anytime they put out music. There was I think a few albums ago, I can't remember it off the top, that I didn't like. What's funny is I was reading some interview, and two of the members are not in this band anymore. They technically are taking a hiatus. The bassist and one of the guitarists, the drummer, and of course Brandon Flowers, the lead, is still there. And but they were talking about when Sam's Town came out, which was their second album. That they didn't, the critics kind of trashed it. To me, maybe I'm a bad critic. I love that album. I really do. There's a lot of good songs on it. But again, this is, I believe, their seventh or ninth album or something like that that's come out. But yeah, this is a magical album. Katie Lang is probably one of my favorite tracks on this one, called Lightning Fields. If you, I wish we had the rights to play some of this, because if we did, we would just do it. But yeah. Again, the track before that is Caution, and that's one of my other favorites. Also, we get a Weighs Blood, for My God is a decent one, and When Dreams Run Dry is another great one. Again, like I said, they're all just great sounding tracks. If you love the Killers, they go back to their original sounds. It sounds like with a little bit of departure here and there, but it's so comforting to listen to this album. And I enjoy immensely. The Blowback is the second track on this album, and like I said, it's just a magical time. Yeah. So, what did you think about the album before I go ahead and rate it? Because I think I'm going to rate this one pretty high.
Yeah, I'm not going to match you on this one either. I liked it. It's definitely a listenable album. I've gone through it maybe twice or so, give or take. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's very similar to their last couple albums. It's more, they've gotten kind of like a lighter, almost more 80s-ish vibe to a degree, and which again I don't dislike. I don't think it's definitely not my favorite album here. I don't want to underrate it though by any means either. So I like it. Like I said, it's listenable. I think if you've liked their last couple albums, you're gonna like this one as well here. Yeah, I'm a big fan. In general though, I'm definitely a big fan as well, though. If world ever comes back to normal, that's a concert I would go to.
And it definitely is a concert I will attend again. Me and Dizzle went during their first, I think during the Hot Fuss and Sam's Town era, and we both enjoyed it immensely. I think I actually had to put together a soundtrack for that one as well. I got their playlist and I put it all together and I smashed it up as well. I'm going to give this a 4.5 because it was just missing one or two things. But all in all, to me it flowed very well. And to me it was okay. The album that I didn't like, it was called Wonderful Wonderful. That was the worst album I think in my mind that they've put out. Yeah, other than that, this was a 4.5 effort for me. And I like I said, this one has geared me up to, if we're going to a disease-free world again, where I could just go out and have a great time at a concert, this is what I will be definitely paying to see.
Yeah, I'm just giving one point less, not 1 point, even half a point. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Like I said, I still quite enjoyed it. It's not my favorite album, but it's still quite listenable, and it's something you can groove to. It's very easy to put on in a road trip. I listen to just on Spotify. If you got Spotify, check it out.
Yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't know if you have their notes for you or whatever. If you remember the album's name, what's your favorite album out of all of their
Probably
thing? Is it
probably Hot Fuzz.
okay? So the first, I like the first. I think what Day and Age is good.
Yeah,
The
that might be
Human.
second. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
a
I
good
think
one.
and like I said, Sam's Town is up there with me. I think because there's a couple songs in there that are really just I just enjoyed. But yeah, I'm with you on that. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Not a very good album in my opinion. That was a meh type
I'd have to.
miss.
That's the harder question. I'd have to look at and seeing who I would rate last. But yeah, it's probably bottom-ish, if not bottom. I agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, boss, it's now time for you to enter this segment because I'm gonna relax for a second.
Hey man, it ain't much to say. This is actually your idea. We're gonna do an actor top 10 this week here, and what an actor it is! A man that's actually made some recent headlines. We'll talk about that here pretty soon here because I'm sure that movie will come up for both of us. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna start my own show. It's a game about games. I don't know, because yeah, we're talking about Michael Keane, ladies and gentlemen. Good old Michael Keane. He's been on our screens for several years now, before I was even born. So over 30 years, if not 40, we've been enjoying this man. And yeah, I look forward to your list because there's definitely several gaps here of movies I haven't seen. When I look back at it, I was like, oh, I'm missing several of these. So I'm interested in if any of them make your list because I actually don't know if they're good or bad. So maybe we'll have a similar list. Maybe we'll have a very different list. We'll find out here soon. You want me to kick it off? You, what's up?
Yeah, you go ahead and kick it off on this one if you want.
Let's
Number
go, Michael.
number 10 or honorable mentions.
I'll do both, man. Honorable mentions are Game Six, Dumbo, White Noise, and Jack Frost. Didn't quite make the mustard here, but what did make the mustard at number 10, not that long ago, actually, and I just rewatched the opening scene, very harrowing. American Assassin. From the pretty recently here, Dylan O'Brien starts off very kind of Punisher like, lots of unfortunate casualties at a beach, including his just newly made fiance, and he trains to become an assassin to get revenge. Michael Keane is along the way here. Um, uh, just kind of a gripping, dark movie here. Michael Keane kind of second lead here. It's more Dylan O'Brien's movie, but a big pulpy role for Keane as well here. Number 10, American Assassin.
I have my next one is called Night Shift. I don't know if you ever watched that. That's I believe him and Henry Winkler, 1982. They show up. Shelley Long is in it as well. Both of those basically they are just I don't know how to explain it. This is my first comedy ever and did with the morgue employees. And the coworker, is one of like so basically they have a, God, I'm butchering this whole premise of the movie. I should have just looked this one up before I even got it. I believe it was directed by Ron Howard. To me, it's a workplace comedy. I remember watching this as a kid when I probably shouldn't have been watching this as a child. And that's my number 10 right there. Night Shift. Again, like I said, it has a lot of pretty heavy hitters back in the day with Henry Winkler and Shelley Long.
Uh, you've already proved my point. That's a movie I've never seen. So interesting to hear a little bit about Night Shift. I had no idea, gun to head, that Henry Winkler was in that. So cool. My number 9 here is a recent one that where he is front and center, and that's the founder. Kind of all of the starts of him, well, not starting McDonald's, but helping it become the global phenomenon that it is. This is a film where I love the first half. I really was interested in this character, how he finds the McDonald's, how he kind of takes these couple of nice dudes that actually really care about the product. And oh man, what's his name? Really great actor. Oh no, I love him. Okay, I love him, but he's a great actor, and he kind of. Oh, and Nick Offerman too. It's Nick Offerman, and it's the other guy that I can't think of. That's gonna
I
bother me.
saw the movie. It doesn't pop in my head for some reason.
But yeah, I just thought he's really good in this. You start to really kind of dislike the character towards the end, but that's part of the story, I suppose. But yeah, I thought it was still a really worthwhile movie. Number nine, The Founder.
My number nine, I don't know, 1983. I'm going up in the years. It sounds. Mr. Mom, where basically he is who is fired, and and Terry Garr is his wife, and she has to get a job, and so he has to take care of the homestead. And this guy has never been around with his kids because he's always been working late or working or doing things with his buddies on the weekend. I think there's Jeffrey Tambor is in it, and Martin Mull, who, if you don't know Martin Mull, he was in a few other things down the road, like Roseanne series and a few other things like that. But yeah, but this one is a comedy as well, in which this is a role reversal, and this one made a lot of splash, almost like Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, almost, in which a very big role reversal. Like, oh my goodness, the guy's actually cleaning the house. You know, it made such a big hit at the box office, and I remember watching that at home from the rental office. When my parents were to rent things, and that was one that I was able to watch, or I should have only been able to watch. And but yeah, that was it, Mr. Mom.
You're continuing the streak of films I have not seen, Mr. Mom. My number eight here is one. He's a co-star, but he's very funny and memorable in this movie. That's also very memorable. The other guys, of course, is more of a Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg movie, but I quite enjoyed Michael Keane here. He gets several laughs, dropping some TLC references. He wants no scrubs, and don't forget to creep, amongst others here. So just really funny. The film's chock full of cameos and good co-stars, and he's one of them. For my number eight, The Other Guys.
I'm going to get a little clean and sober with my next film, and that is number eight, Clean and Sober, in which he plays let's just say he is just a alcoholic and also a very bad cocaine habit, and so he has to be put away. Morgan Freeman is in this film. It's not a pleasure cruise type of film when you're watching this. It's just basically about a guy who's just in this substance abuse, and he just spirals in and out, and he's trying to find this life of sobriety, and basically he just, at the end, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, at the end, it just doesn't work. And I just love this film. I remember watching this with my mom, and yes, she and I just sat there. She cried watching this film. I still remember watching it and going, "Oh my God," like that, and I was like, "Wow." It was a great performance. I've never seen a movie like this when I was growing up that I can remember, but that really jarred me so much in regards to addiction. And this is one. So Clean and Sober, is my number eight.
You're 3 for 3 in movies I've never seen. Also, too, thanks for saying I don't want to ruin it, and then 5 seconds later, ruining it. My number.
Well, again, there's other things that'll be ruined. Trust me, I'm not ruining the film. It's just that there's things that just don't work out, and it's like everything in life. There's a lot of things in rehab that don't work out. So I'm not going to tell you what doesn't work out for him. It just doesn't work out.
My number 7 here is a movie that was actually recently talked about on a show about trivia, which is our brother trivia show that you have disappeared on and will not return to.
Your brother handed me such a beatdown.
I'm not even talking about my real brother. Other people are playing now too, man. I want to play you and I want to have some fun. Will you return to the show, Dutch?
I will return to the show. I will host the show as well one more time. Just get me something good out there. That's all I'm saying. I will. How about this? The next show. How about this? You and I will go against each other on the next show. About you and I.
All right, sounds good. I'll get a host. Probably my good guy, Steve Mesa, who's been a previous guest on the show. You've met him virtually. My number 7 here, as I mentioned, we talked about it. The trivia question was, what is Michael Keaton's only Quentin Tarantino appearance and that's my number 7, Jackie Brown. Would you have gotten that question right?
Yes, I have. And by the way, that is my number 7. So we can combine our sevens together.
We're matching up here for the first time on this list here. So yeah, Jackie Brown. I'll be real quick. You can throw in your 2 cents as well. Yeah, just this again. This is kind of one of the less talked about Tarantino films because I think it's the least kind of splashiest in a way. You know what I mean? It's not really,
Yeah.
but a great cast too. Nonetheless, here, great dialogue here. Keen is part of it, and yeah, just it's fun. I feel like there's that weird kind of '90s, early 2000s gap where you don't see a hell of a lot of him. So. Definitely a welcomed addition. Yeah, Jackie Brown coming at 7. Let's continue. What do you think of a Jackie Brown?
His character in Jackie Brown was pretty good. I don't know. I just like Robert Forster in this film as well. There's a lot of things that go on. There's so many appearances of everybody in this film that sometimes they're brief, sometimes they're full. But yeah, his performance in this was just spot for what he needed to do, and he left. Came in, came out. That's how it goes. But it was better than whatever I can put in everything else. I was looking at a lot of other films and was like, I can't put them in there. So I had to use that. Jackie Brown is my number 7.
Let's continue on. My number 6 here, a recent Oscar-nominated film, and that's Spotlight here. Again, great eclectic cast here. All about it's a really worthwhile movie, really worthwhile story here. This is just actors putting on great performances here with a great script, and it's meaty in the dialogue and the story here about trying to find out corruption in a very sad, dark place, unfortunately sometimes. And everyone on here is just on their A game here. I think this is either right before, or right after Birdman, so this is just 2 when everyone's like, "Holy shit, Michael Keaton, where have you been?" And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a great film. That's why I said these last 6, I think, are all really great films. That's my number 6 personally, Spotlight. It's hard to put these films in order too, because you could argue this could be my number 3, my number 4, but I just went with my heart. I'm gonna make it my number 6.
Yeah, Spotlight. I was flirting with it so much on my list, and I thought, well, there was other parts that I really liked him in, that beat this. So, and my number 6 is Pacific Heights. He is a guy from hell. If you ever rent your room with somebody in San Francisco, do not rent to Michael Keaton. Matthew Modine and Melanie Griffith are just too trusting of this gentleman. And the next thing you know, he just makes their life a living hell. Where he throws cockroaches through the floor, tears out the floor, messes with the pipes. I mean, this man has done everything in this. He is a creepy crawly himself. And I remember this film, and he shook me to my very core. But yeah, Pacific Heights, Keaton at one of his nastiest, if you ever want to put him in there. But that was my number 6.
Very nice, very nice. We go on to the top 5 here. We mentioned it before. I like this movie. It's actually still only my number 5, which shows you how strong the 5 is. Multiplicity. Very fun film here. It's a great actor film here, too, because Keane gets to have so much fun playing just different versions of himself here. I started rewatching not too long ago. I forgot. I got one of those weird things. I got distracted or fell asleep, so I need to finish rewatching it pretty soon here. But it was a fun, definitely repeat watch back in the day. And I just really enjoyed this here. Multiplicity. My number 5.
My number 5, I'm jumping back into the 80s again. We're going gung-ho, where he is a plant manager, works on the United Workers Association thing, union man, in which a Japanese company buys their plant. And he has to work with the Japanese, and George Wynn's in it. I think Ken Watanabe, is in it as well. But yeah, he is basically trying to, get the American people aboard on the Japanese way of doing things. Then they say they're going to close the plant, so they got to make X amount of cars, finish X amount of cars within a certain time, or their plant in their town basically will go away. and so it's basically, they all get together. I loved this as a kid. I rewatched it not too long ago again, and it is a fun trip. I believe it could be available on Hulu now, if I'm not mistaken. So if you get a chance, you should watch it. But Gung Ho is again, Michael Keaton, more of a comedian during these periods instead of a serious actor. So, but yeah, that's what I loved about it, and it was fun. Gung Ho is my number 5.
Yeah, I think more than half your list is stuff I haven't seen. That's another one. My
Oh, we're gonna get to the area where you've seen all these, so we're good.
Yeah, we're getting there because I'm sure you've seen. Well, I know you've seen this bottom. Well, you saw my last 7. Well, you saw everything I've seen actually. Here's the one I have gaps on. My number 4 here. I think it's above my head here. He's wearing the jacket. I think Spider-Man: Homecoming. He plays Vulture. Is this what?
Are you on my own list? Are you on my list number 4 as well?
Very nice. Second match. It doesn't always happen. It's happened a couple of times, but it's not happened more than it's happened. A couple matches here. Just he's so good as a villain here, and my favorite parts actually of him as a villain is the quieter moments. It's not even necessarily the fights or his outfit. It's when it's him driving a car on the way to prom or homecoming.
Yes.
Sorry, homecoming.
Yes.
It's even him just at the beginning, that slow burn of they took away my gerb. They took away his job, and I just thought he's so good as this. There's a reason why. I'll say this again for Batman. There's a reason why at the end of that Morbius trailer that everyone gets a little popski when you see there's a little bit more of Val Kilmer to come. Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And number 4 is Spider-Man: Homecoming as well for me. I thought he was the perfect Vulture, character. He has those eyes that are intense when he's, when he's in the anger mode. You notice that whenever he's just staring down, Spider-Man and even threatening him lightly in the car without really, he's threatening very badly, but he's not like, heavily handily going over the top with it. Like you say, those subtle cues, about, how he's interrogating him, but yet, telling him, I don't like you. You're ruining my life. And, I thought it was great, his portrayal as the Vulture. And I can't wait for a lot more from Mr. Keaton.
Well, if you want a lot more, you're not going to really see it in this film because even though he is the title character, he's not in it all that much. It's Beetlejuice. What's up?
Third 2, baby.
Third is our third double?
Yes, I think we're going to go in the home stretch tied. How's that sound?
Maybe it'd be fun if this would be a first time if we our bottom 4s are all together. That would be a first time, but I don't know.
I don't know either. But
Beetlejuice again. Really fun world building that they built here. Unique practical effects here, and a great performance by Michael Keaton. Often duplicated, never. I don't know. I screwed that phrase up, but you know what I was getting at. There's so many people that have done that voice since in cartoons and even live stages and at Universal Studios here. Everyone loves doing a Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice, an iconic performance with only X amount of minutes on screen.
Yeah, for like you say, for a character that's the title name and he's only in it for like 35, 40 minutes of the whole movie. You're less than that, probably. Yeah, no, it could be. I'm just saying he's not in it very long. People forget it's more of a Winona Ryder, Gina Davis, and Alec Baldwin film.
Baldwin.
And I love this portrayal. He is such a snarky, smart arse type ghoul. And I just love it, and just his portrayal. I can't wait for a sequel. I know we've talked about it. They've talked about it for years. He says he's on. It all depends on who else is on for it as well. But yeah, Beetlejuice is my number 3 as well. What is your number 2? So I could say I match you as well, sir. Please give me the number 2.
I'll use number 2. I just wanted to do a quick Google thing for you here, by the way. 17 minutes. 17 minutes
Wow.
of Juice is on screen. It took not even 2 weeks for him to film everything, much of which was ad-libbed, and he credits the crew for encouraging his creativity on set. So yeah, 17 minutes, very similar
Wow.
to Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs. My number
Yeah.
two here, I don't know if we're gonna agree because my number two, it's something with B-Man in it, but it's Birdman.
Oh, gotcha. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, flip flop maybe. Yeah, Birdman
Probably.
here. Let's see a little bit my top right, maybe your top left. I don't know how things work on this mirrored image here. Um,
Yeah.
again, just this is just man. If you love acting here, him, Norton, Stone, Galifianakis, everyone's here giving a performance. I also love the techniques that make this look like it's one shot, but you're never bored, you're never visually unentertained either here. Just monologues, juicy monologues here. A weird ass ending that we can fight about, but the journey is well worth it. Yeah, my number two is Birdman, which the subtitle is what, Jim?
I can't remember. It's a very long bunch
Exactly.
underneath.
I don't remember either.
I know there's like a sentence about this long underneath or something like that, but I'm Birdman, you know. My number two happens to have a man in it, but I am calling him Batman. 1989. We talked about this, I think, last week when we went over our films. I think Batman is the only thing on this list that I didn't have to change on this list from last week. But yeah, Batman, and Michael Keaton are synonymous. I'm not talking Batman Returns, even though I didn't mind that one at all. I wanted more, Harvey Dent, which we all know would have been, Billy D. Williams. And, but hey, we can always dream, can't we? But yeah, I enjoyed Batman as I first saw it. I read the book. What is funny is I read the book that the movie was based on. The book, if you ever get a chance to read it, it was a phenomenal book. There's some scenes in it that they cut from the book, but they made scenes in the movie for it. But they could have made it a little different, which I thought would have been cooler. Like whenever the Joker presents, Kim Basinger's character with the pop up arm of dead flowers. Remember that? And you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. That scene. Now in there, they actually he has time to take out a little bat scanner and go over the stuff in the book, but they didn't show any of that. In the movie that I can remember. So and I was like, man, I wish they would have put out the little gadgets, and had him scan to make sure there's no explosives in the box and things like that. But again, Batman is my number two on my list. Not Batman 2, but Batman.
That's what my number one is. It's Batman, the OG Batman here. This was a big old VHS rewatch for me. There's some scary moments here. I still remember again we talked about it recently. The first scene of the two guys talking about him and them seeing him perched above. Jack Nicholson, I own that Joker. It's literally in my eyesight from right here. Yeah, I just think this thing, he can't move much. He can't look to the left or right, but he'll get you. And yeah, I just thought the visuals is fun. Yeah, the OG. Well, to me, the OG Batman.
Well, he is the OG. He is the original. He is the gangsters of all Batmen. He has all the dibs of saying I did it first on major film, even though Adam West did it. I'm not counting that film, but it was still fun to watch. That one was. My number one is what you had for your number two, Birdman. The only reason why I did this one is because, as you said, it was an actor extravaganza. In the camera work and Emma Stone's performance with that she had to play up against, Michael Keaton, unbelievable. And I just thought, to me, this film knocked it out of the park. Who was this? Guillermo del Toro, right? Was this his movie or who else? Oh no, who was this? Who was this film? I can't remember. He was a Spanish or Mexican director, I believe. But anyway, his vision was just unbelievable on this one. And I apologize if I'm bad with names, as everyone should know by now. But yeah, I thought this film, Birdman, was just an exquisite piece of art, and it deserved what it did. It did get awards, I believe, as well, or if it didn't, it got nominated for a few. So yes,
Alejandro Gonzalez
yes.
Inarritu.
Okay, okay. So he's a friend of Guillermo del Toro's, I think. Anyway, because he did say something
The
about him
director of
in
Meros
his
Peros,
acceptance speech.
21 Grams, Babel, Beautiful, and he did The Revenant as well. Has not made a major film since The Revenant, though.
Oh, wow. But yeah, so he has a good track record, as you see. And but yeah, I enjoyed it. So that's my number one, Birdman. I always wanted to call it Harvey Birdman for some reason. Whenever it came out, I was like, Harvey Birdman has a movie, and I was like, yay! But it's not Harvey Birdman; it's just Birdman.
Well, just like when I looked it up just now, I put in Birdman that pops up as well. So, did you want this?
Yeah. Did you want Harvey? No, no, no.
All
I
right,
wanted
ladies and gentlemen,
Birdman.
let's go down our list
So
again for Sir Michael Keaton. I have 10 American Assassin, 9 The Founder, 8 The Other Guys, 7 The Jackie Brown, 6 The Spotlight, 5 The Multiplicity, 4 The Spider-Man Homecoming, 3 The Beetlejuice, 2 The Birdman, and 1 The Batman. The McAllister, what do you have?
I have the number 10, Night Shift. Number 9, Mr. Mom. Number 8, Clean and Sober. Number 7, Jackie the Brown. Number 6, Pacific Heights. Number 5, Gung Ho Ho. Number 4, The Spider-Man Homecoming. And number 3, Beetlejuice. Number 2, Batman. And number 1, Birdman. Yes, Birdman.
Good list, good
Now, where'd you go,
list.
buddy? Oh, whoa, there you go.
Congrats to
But yeah,
Michael.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and don't forget, next week we're going to talk our top 10 Sandra Bullock films. Yes, next week, top 10 Sandra Bullock films. God almighty, I'm excited, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. The enthusiasms are huge with this one. The enthusiasms are huge. Well, my good man, it is that time of I don't know how to segue into this because I'm just gonna know what the first part is. It's not a very good news, so just some news, breaking news, and notable stuff. If you can, please, sir. I don't even want to discuss it, but we have to.
Of course, opening up last night, late last night, I believe. We're talking Friday night. It's Saturday night now. Chadwick Boseman at the young age of 43. As he's actually older than I thought he was, which just shows you, good looking and in shape he was. But still 43, way too young. Colon cancer took him, a very well hidden, secret. It seems like his inner circle knew. No one really knew. There's maybe some speculation recently on social media that he did look skinny more than ever before, but you never know, is that a role or what? But unfortunately it wasn't. He's been suffering this for several years now. He's shot movies, The Five Bloods and more, under this illness here, and yeah, unfortunately we lost what all around from every report seems to be a good guy, a great actor, and yeah, I know one of really something fun if you want to watch here, and this shows you how much he meant and the Black Panther role meant. I want to say it's Jimmy Kimmel, I want to believe, where they did the trick of, hey, we're going to send these recordings out to Chadwick, and tell him how much the role means to you, and then he would pop up behind them and surprise them, and it was something that actually brought people to tears, because that was such a role that was for more than just me and you, two good old whiteys. That was a role that meant a lot to a lot of people here, because
Yeah.
it was a strong black character, and it was also just a damn well-made film. I mean, I fought for it to be nominated for the best Oscar. Well, as much as I can fight having no power. And I was easily my top 5 of the year that year. Still one of my favorite Marvel films, probably my top 5 of all the MCU. And yeah, just I played a lot of true life characters as well. James Brown and Get On Up. Marshall Thurgood and Marshall, and one of the first movies I saw him in too, Jackie Robinson in 42, another great tale that if you haven't seen that one, that's highly suggested here. It'll break your heart, but then lift it up as well. And yeah, it's just, very, very tragic. Definitely one of those where when you first hear it, I'm almost thinking like, please tell me this is just a really shitty joke or like a
Yeah,
misinterpretation. You Google it and you see everyone's
I,
reporting it.
I yeah, I remember I texted you probably around what was it, about 12 or something like that, 12
Yeah,
at night,
it
a
was
little after
late.
that maybe.
Yeah.
And I remember I told you what happened, and I stumbled across the first report probably about 2 minutes before that. And before I even did that, he told you is I was like, oh no, I need more than one source. And
Yeah.
I went to his Twitter page, and that's where his family, really
Oh.
was telling us, I said, okay, fine. If his family's doing this,
Yeah.
I hate to see it, but ugh, it hurt. But what's great is there's a quote that's hanging out in which he did in the Black Panther. I just want to read it. It says, "In my culture, death does not end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands and bast and skim it. They lead you into a green field where you can run on forever." So that's what I'm thinking for Mr. Bozeman is he's running on forever and making that heaven a better place because he made our world a better place as well.
Yeah, another good quote. The king is no longer in pain. Different things out there, yeah, just obviously a huge shout out, a huge amount of respect and love to anyone that knew him, that was a fan of his, family, friends, fans all around. Definitely two fans here.
Absolutely. What there's no other segue I can do, but what else do we have in our news and notes for us
Coming
tonight?
out, some other stuff here in the world of Hollywood entertainment. We're going Tiger King heavy, my friend, because not only is that Nicolas Cage show on CBS being developed, but now NBC is wanting to get into the Tiger King game with Kate McKinnon currently in talks to play none
Oof.
other than Carol Baskin. So I'm a fan of Kate McKinnon getting
Is
her
it a
own.
comedy over there?
If
Is it a
Kate
comedy
McKinnon's
over
in
there
it,
at NBC?
if Kate McKinnon's in it, I doubt they're casting her to be super serious. So yeah, and that is a comedy. Come on, Tiger King, Carol Baskin. So yeah, we'll see if either
Oh,
one,
that would be awful.
or who knows, we might even have both battling next year. The Stand, based on the Stephen King novel, did luck out. It did finish filming, so we will get to see that premiere on CBS All Access December 17th. I look forward to that.
Good.
Good cast too: James Marsden, Amber Heard, Alexander Skarsgård, Greg Kinnear, Whoopi Goldberg, Nat Wolff, and Heather Graham, amongst several others as well here. So we'll see, man. Stephen King, it's hit and miss with movies and TVs, obviously sometimes. But I just recently watched Gerald's Game. I thought was well worth it over on Netflix. A couple years late, but still worth it for me.
Hey,
Uh,
Amber Heard, you said correct?
yes, sir.
So she's not going to be digitally removed, I guess, as far as I can gather.
Not yet. I don't
Um,
think they have the money to.
but you know what though, I Amber Heard news for you. I didn't know if you heard about this. Rumors are, and again, these are rumors. They're not full fact, even though they are pretty strong ones. They didn't like how she came off, and so as we know, she plays Queen Mara in the Aquaman series or the Aquaman movies to be, and they want to replace her now with Emily Blunt. So we don't know what's going to happen because Amber has hurt her brand, but through this Johnny Depp trial. But we'll see. They want Emily Blunt now to play Queen Mara possibly, and might we actually see that? I don't know.
I for sure think it's possible for sure because it is a secondary character next to Aquaman, and I could see them being like, hey, let's cut our ties, and Emily Blunt is just as hot as far as credibility wise. So why not?
Well, John, what was it? What's her husband's name again? Help me out with his last name, John. Kransky?
No, not no.
What is it? John.
Krasinski.
Oh, Krasinski. Okay, so John Krasinski. If he did the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, he wanted her to play the Invisible Girl. So, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, she can do both. Just figure out the scheduling.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh,
nice.
West Wing is returning to a special coming to HBO Max. They
Ugh.
also the recent thought I had it near me.
What do you got? What are you looking for?
Uh, they were recently on the cover. I don't know if this is going to show of Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, there they are. I do.
Good old Bradley Whitford, Richard Schiff, don't know her name, Aaron Sorkin, Dule Hill, Rob Lowe, and Allison Janney with Martin Sheen in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Janelle
So,
Maloney. Sorry, Janelle
so how are
Maloney.
they? So where are they? What's the premise in this? Is it just like a get together, like where they just talk about the show, or are they actually
This is where
thinking of
they
doing
shit
them?
on Trump for 2 hours. I don't know the premise. I didn't look it up. But
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I do believe that they will walk through hallways and talk very fast. So.
Oh, okay, and very and long pauses for thinking as well.
Yes.
So.
Uh, Speaking of returns, although in a different way this time, CW is developing a live action Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
So for the first time, we might see some live action Powerpuff Girls, which would be interesting. I don't hate that idea.
Who is your favorite Powerpuff Girl?
I'd have to rewatch. I couldn't tell you.
I think it was the green one for me. I'm not sure what her name was though.
There's green, pink, and who? Blue?
Blue, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think green was my favorite. I don't know.
Adam Pally, who's been in several things. Happy Endings. He was on Your Cup, Sonic. He's in talks to star in the John Belushi biopic. So we might be looking at seeing that pretty soon. Adam Pally currently in talks. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot has been rebooted. They were filming for a week, and the studio saw the footage and went, yeah, we don't like it. So they fired the directors, and they're going to reboot the reboot. And in fact, it looks like they're in the same way as Halloween and Terminator Dark Fate, where this will be a direct sequel to the OG 1970 whatever film. So whatever. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. They've had a very wonky track record with Texas Chainsaw recently. The prequel I thought was pretty bad. Jessica Biel was fine. I don't know.
Yeah, was that a zombie film though? Was that like a? Did Zombie have a part of this or no?
Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking a Texas Chainsaw zombie film. I was like, geez, you don't have no idea what these movies are?
No. I watched the original Chainsaw Massacre back in the early days, and I remember the second one and the third or whatever the hell they had. But
I did watch the second or third one that has Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay. But hey, I got some.
I did not see Zombie's name listed on the article I read.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere that Tenet is actually doing pretty well overseas. You know, they released it overseas, $40 million so far. 40 million overseas. So, you know, just think, you know, it could be a big blockbuster here if we get our acts together. Make his money back at least. But 40 million so far overseas. So that was one of the things. I don't know if you have this on your news and notes, but Altered Carbon has been canceled. There will be no third season on Netflix, which is BS. I call BS on them. I love that show with all passion. But it is now being shopped around to other streaming outlets. So hopefully somebody will pick it up. Maybe Amazon will pick it up like they did The Expanse. We need a good sci-fi show in which you can have a diverse character being played. Right now, you had white guy, black guy, Chinese guy, Korean guy. I mean, you had all these guys, different ethnicities all playing these parts, and you could keep going because there's numerous books, numerous things on this, and sex is not an obstacle either. It could be a female lead now. So it all depends on what stack and what skin he goes into. So it will be interesting to see if anybody wants to pick it up. I'm hoping, my fingers are very big and crossed.
That sucks to hear that it's been currently, at least at the moment, canceled. That'll be upsetting, I'm sure, to other former guests. Don Mega was a fan of that show as well here. There's some conflicting reports about the new Nutty Professor film. Some are saying they're rebooting it, but there's also been talks that Eddie Murphy's interested. So whether or not we'll be seeing a third Eddie Murphy or just simply a reboot with a completely different set of cast. I don't know if it would be another person playing multiple characters, but so it's back and forth right now as to what's the truth is. We're kind of at a weird standing point in general, so we'll see there. I know me and you were talking. I know you're excited. I think for Batman Long Halloween and Justice
Yes.
Society animated films are in the works.
Yes.
I got one more piece of news. You got anything else?
I do. Speaking of Eddie Murphy, people thought that Haunted Mansion was an actually good movie. I don't think it was, but they are doing a reboot of the Haunted Mansion, and so some people's childhood is being disjointed. Aha! Take that. Now you understand what my life is like. But the new Haunted Mansion film is being produced by Disney again. So
Wait, you think people are upset about that film?
Oh, do you not follow Twitter? I'm out there on the
No.
Twitterverse, and people are throwing conniption fits, saying this was their childhood movie, this was their movie of greatness, and I'm like, did you guys? What? I don't hear anybody complaining if they made a Pluto Nash all over again. But if they did make Pluto Nash, it's just grouped right up in there.
If they even touch me, Dave, so help me God. I had no idea. I'm in the middle between the two. I thought Haunted Mansion was completely fine, like a solid 2.5, but it was not something I was gonna fight for being rebooted. And I was surprised. I've never heard anyone. I never knew there was a fan base for that. So interesting to know. It's too late on it as far as being a kid that was just succumbed by it. Because we had no sequels. It's not like it was a runaway success in the first place.
No, it's one of those films that are just something that we can't stand. Also, I got some other news. Just tell me if hopefully it's not a repeat for you. Netflix has come out and said they are going to make a live action version of Resident Evil with the showrunner of Supernatural. So he's going to come out and make a Resident Evil show. Along the lines of, they're also in development an X-Files animated comedy spin-off series. I don't know, but they're going
Gunman?
No, it's a Fox.
They tried that comedy spin-off already, and it didn't work.
well, it's a cartoon, so animated series. You could probably do a little bit more with it, but there's a few of the notes and newses that I have for this show today.
We'll put it up with this. At first I thought this was really good news, and then stupid me, I read the date again and went, oh wait, never mind, it got postponed. I thought it got pushed up. Scream 5 has a release date. We're going to be seeing it in January 14th, 2022. I read 2021, so I was like, oh, it's only 6 months away, and then I was like, oh wait, 2022, never mind. So of it coming out in 2021. The main three are returning: David Arquette, Nev Campbell, and Courtney Cox. But it has been pushed back, obviously, due to delays for January now of 2022.
Now, a question for you, because I'm very bad with my Scream lore.
I'll tell you.
Did they kill Scott? Did they kill Scott Foley?
Yeah, for sure. Well, as for sure as possible, because who really dies unless you get beheaded? But yeah, he died in the third one.
So you don't think Drew Barrymore is going to come back, make a cameo appearance?
No, she is as dead as possible because you saw her guts.
Yeah, I know. She's the reason why that film was a success, because she was the first one that was like the biggest. I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying she was a big celebrity at the time when she did this film, and she got killed right away. So it was like, wow, this is changing the game.
They pulled the Psycho. Psycho did the same thing. You'd think it's What's-Her-Face's movie, and then they kill her in the first 10 minutes in the shower.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So, but that's all we got, I believe, for this week's news.
Tune in next week, though. We're going to have another show next week. Are we talking Emmys?
No, not next week.
Oh, never mind.
Well, when is the Emmys are soon? The Emmys are soon.
Know. You're the one.
I don't remember. Well, I've been wanting to do an only Emmy show, which we can do later. But no, we have a regular show next week, and then because we have the Sandra Bullock part, we have our TVs and we have our movies that we have scheduled. So it'll be interesting.
We got some good reviews coming up for you next week. Well, actually, probably not next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about The Boys. But next week, I know I'm going to be talking about the movies Body Cam and You Cannot Kill David Arquette.
So that'll be on next week's show, correct? So that'll be fabulous. Yeah, and we'll also cover Made in Italy and Magic Camp. So those are a few things that are out there.
And what you think of Magic Camp? Because so far I have the app, but I'm very cautious.
No, off the camera, I'll talk to you a little bit about it. Before, I don't want to spoil it for our viewers, but no, it's it's without saying a lot, interesting. So we don't get to see Adam Devine's penis in this one. So it's a great departure from what he usually does.
Yeah, I don't think on Disney Plus. It's
I'm just saying it's a great departure from what we usually see from Adam. You
see that thing twice? What do you make it seem like we see it every week, every show?
It just seems like it's gratuitous. That's all there is to it.
Well, you know what? We're gonna end the show with mine.
Okay. Oh. Wow, I didn't really. Ladies, get in line.
Men, too. I don't judge.
Men, whoever wants a piece, go get him. Go get him.
This show went off the rails. Well, next week's tune in to find out. Well, for my main man, Dutch Ethan McAllister, I am JPO Jordan Pierce Owens. Dutch, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, and have a great evening, sir.
You too. Hey. You have a good evening. Well, that was the show. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications thing. Let your friends know.
Do some comments. Comment or something. Tell us that you're alive.
I'll comment back. If you didn't like the show, tell an enemy. Make them listen to it if you didn't like it. If you did like it, tell a friend. And
absolutely.
And as always, get your guitar ready, Jim. Be excellent to one another.
I love it.